Okay, good morning, everyone. Hello.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Sir.
Clear akong voice sa inyo ang end.
Yes, sir.
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I want you to prepare one a calculator, uh, notebooks, pens, pencils, because we'll do calculations. Okay, because I promised last time na magkwanta, focus ka sa calculations karon. Okay, let's start. So yesterday, no, we discussed about the I will be doing physics today, this week, physics at dito sa Tamag 3 eyes because again, I am currently checking your work sa inyong capstone research. So this will be my performance task as well. And sad to say, no, it's not really what we thought nga punaan ninyo is not reflected sa inyong output, especially those who are done with their defense. But probably next time I'll be joining the defense na lang siguro para makuraw pa jud inyong utok. Okay, para makatuon jud mo sa pagbuhat. Okay. Please tell me kung makita na ninyo ang presentation for a while sa.
Ang questions na ko, will give you plus 5. If I duwa tulong na dinangsilan, I will give you plus 3. And if walay yung mansilan, I will give you 1. Okay, plus 5. Anyway,
Klaro na sa inyong end? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, let's calculate light. Yeah. Actually, we're not actually going to calculate the light, but instead we'll be exploring the equations behind mirrors and lenses. So now, if we describe if we describe the light waves, actually calculating the light waves is like calculating also the normal waves lang. But what's the difference on the light waves is that we have a constant value for the speed of light. Diba? Pila itong speed of light na to? Anyone who can still remember? Pila to ang speed of light. Constant value for the speed of light. Pila.
Very good. So, even though sa'yo mo, if you try to ma-pinpoint mo asa sa'yo, clear yan, no? Okay, first question is na,
Okay, amethyst. Do you have any idea, amethyst?
how about the
Pila tong speed of light?
same question yan po. Nabay sa'yo na kumpitan, if yes, pinpoint, if wala, I will give you one of questions. Yes. Wala. So, my question is,
Amethyst, you're there, amethyst?
nanglapas ba siya sa center? Yes or no? Why did you subtract 0.4925 0.5?
How about you, Carol? I think absent si amethyst. Those who are not answering my question, I will mark you absent.
Sir.
Grade 12 na mo. God gracious, grade 12 na mo. You should know how to answer na because you are supposedly a second-year college student. So dapat mo na mo, knowledgeable na mo on what are the discussions all about. Okay, how about you, Carol? Do you have any idea, Carol, how much is the speed of light? Constant value for the speed of light.
299 million meter per second, sir.
Okay, let's try to convert that one into another value. So it's 3.0. Now 3.0 times 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. That is the speed of light. If you can still remember our discussion last time, I told you that the speed of light is much faster than the speed of sound. So on the speed of sound lang good, we need we still need to calculate for the speed of sound because it is very affected by the medium. The medium that we're talking about here, class, is usa ka medium atong pasabot. Okay? Either solid, either liquid, or either gas. So we can calculate the speed of sound through those factors. But for the speed of light, we are referring to the rays. For example, no, it's the rays. It's not a rays to the earth. Let's try to see that. Let's assume that that's the sun rays. Okay, it's the sun rays that is traveling inside the earth, and then there's a factor like what we call atmosphere that's affecting the speed. But ang affected na speed na pasabot nato is not totally changing the speed. Okay? It is actually kwan lang siya, no? Kwan lang. Let's try to say nag-scattered lang niya ang speed that to niya. But still, we are referring to the constant value of that speed of light. So it's 3.0 times 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Now, on the light waves, we have different components, and we have here the wavelength. No? The lambda here is the symbol lambda means wavelength, which is in meter. The F is for the frequency, which has a unit of hertz. We also have here a speed, no? Which is meter per second. A for the amplitude, and T for the period of time, or 1 per second. Actually, for the frequency and for the period, they are commonly related, but we will the difference lang is that although they are commonly related, but the difference is their equation. Okay? How do you solve using frequency? How do you get the period? Now, the speed of the wave, okay, let's try to siguro, focus on the speed of light. No? If the presence of the speed of light is included on the calculation, we can say that the C is equals to the wavelength multiplied to the frequency, where C is the speed of light, that's the constant value for the speed of light, and lambda for the wavelength in meter as a unit, and the frequency, which is in hertz. So let's wala siya kwan gyapon no meter per period or meter per time because we are actually multiplying the frequency to the wavelength. So mabutang siya nga mura siya og uh, mura siya karibitang ang frequency ato siya i-convert into period because calculating frequency is like F is equals to 1 divided by T or the number of cycle, no? So mura gyud pa nagbutang og a meter or M wavelength times 1 which is in the frequency divided by the time. So ang unit niya is kami. Sir, when can we use when can we use this formula? Actually, we can use this formula in the sample. If we will be looking for the frequency of the yellow light whose wavelength is at 600 nanometer, we can actually use dayon ang iyahang formula nga C is equals to the lambda times the frequency. But this time, since we're looking for the frequency, we'll be focusing lang siguro on the given. We have a given here, the constant given, which is the speed of light, which is 3.0 times 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. And then our lambda, no, this is the wavelength. Take note. We are talking about here the colors because if we go back on the prism, the scattering of the light, the scattering of the white light actually creates different colors. So in this time, yellow light is our example, and the yellow light has a value of 600 nanometer. So if we convert the wavelength of the yellow light, which is 600 nanometer, we can say that 600 is times 10 to the power of the negative 9 meter. The negative 9 here means nano. So it's below zero. So how do we get the frequency of the cellular light? Of course, from this equation, kani siyang equation, ato na siyang i-derive. Okay, we need to derive this. So to derive this equation, we can have C is equal to the wavelength times the frequency. And then, to get the frequency, ato lang i-divide both side by pila. Okay, we divide both side by lambda, no? By wavelength. So we can have F is equals now to the C divided by the lambda, or the constant value of the speed of light divided by the wavelength. So we have 3.0 times 10 to the power of 8 meter per second divided by 600 times 10 to the power of negative 9 meter. Substitute the given values ng tanan, and then you'll have an answer of 5 times 10 to the power of 14 hertz. Okay, hertz here is the unit for the frequency. Or, pwede ka po siya may mabutang ng 5 times 10 to the power of 14, 1 per second. Okay, or 1 cycle per second. So we have 5 times 10 to the power of 14 hertz per second. So, muna siya ang iyang other nga kwan na kanang pop unit. Okay. So, this is an example of a table wherein we have the different colors that has its own wavelength. Okay. Take note the changes of this wavelength will depend on the probable given. It means that these are the sample of experimented colors already. These are the experimented wavelength. Sir, ma-change ba ang iyang wavelength? Now, most colors actually do not have its own wavelength. So, gina-calculate niya po nato siya. But in this time, let's focus on the most common colors that is actually has its own wavelength band. So we have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So these are they have different wavelength, no? So red here has na siya highest nga wavelength. Pero bali na siya, di ba? Bali dapat na siya because ang high dapat dani is ang medyo dool sa zero is the violet. Ang medyo far sa zero is ang red, di ba? Mabali ang iyahang mabali ang iyahang aspect dani. Because the farther to the zero, pasabot na the lower. So the nearer the zero, muna siya ang mga near. Okay. Okay. Now, I want you to try calculating this one. You can comment your answer sa comment section or masyada nga i-comment lang ninyo. No? I want you to try calculating these two examples. So we have your first question. Calculate the wavelength of the light that has a frequency of 560.5 hertz. And then on the second question, what will be the frequency of the red light and the blue light? So again, first is calculate the wavelength of the light that has a frequency of 560.5 hertz. And then on the second one, we have what will be the frequency of the red light and the blue light. So let's go back in here. Okay, do you have questions with regards to calculating the speed of light, or the speed of the wave? Any questions so far? Before ko mag-move sa example questions. Okay. Si hertz is 1 per second. Yeah, wala siyang cycle per second ang ato ang frequency, ang hertz. Okay. Please do, on the second question, kindly copy na lang sa ang value sa kanang wavelength sa red and sa blue para mabalik na ako ang question. So kindly copy the value of the wavelength of the red, which is, let's try to assume that Can i-include lang di as inyong kuha. The red is at 650 nanometer. That is the frequency of the red. I'm sorry, that's the wavelength of the red. 650. Exact. Exact lang 650. And then for the blue, let's have 470. So again, for the wavelength of the red, 650 nanometer, and for the blue, 470. 470 nanometer. So take note na.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the question tayo. Any answer this one? Comment your answer. I'll give you at least 3 minutes. So one and a half per question. I think it's very easy to calculate comfort.
Wala sa movie. Please. Uga apelido.
Sa apelido? Excuse me, kasi si Mary Jo nga Oga.
Sir, kanang akuan sir si Tudtud, sir.
Tudtud. Christian Tudtud. Because akong ST is the checks yung attendance. So, even if mag-out mo sa akong class, monitor na ako na siya because monitor po siya yung attendance every end.
Sorry, sir, kay akong email magud dilig pa kasulod.
Sige. Oga na siya, Sir Jen. Tudtud. Sige, Tudtud at Oga. Okay. What's your answer? Comment below. Matag vlogger Danny. Okay, comment your answer below. How about the second one, Philip? Iusa na yung answer. Okay, like 1, this 1, and 2. Yan na. Para ma-record na ko na. Buti may close. Okay. 3 minutes is up. Asa na mga ba answers ninyo? Anyone? Okay, we have here Philip. Thank you, Philip. Same answer. Okay, we have Budlau's answer. Thank you. How about the others? Five na ko i-record ani. Wala na ikuan mo answer lain. I need two answers. Not only one answer ako kinahanglan. I need two. Because I have two questions. And they follow the instruction. Agay, kamo bitaw mga grade 12 na. Butan dyan ninyo ay kung di pa mo ready mag-college, ibalik na lang muna mo sa grade 12. You are 19 here sa ako ang online class. So I expect that I have 19 answers na makitaan sa comment section. We have now our manus answer, Badilla, Butkon, Mishona, Marmoria, Acero, Antiga, okay, Mantiza. Muli pa na ako sa piyong-piyong karon grade 12 kay nag-take na naman exam sa mga universities and colleges outside Moist. Kasi may matiga no mo din ni noon. Okay, we have Silana. Seven na lang. 7 more participants. I need a Chano's answer. I need Ranya's answer. Lunoy, Kabahar. Answer ni Jovil, ni Ho. Piquero. I need your answers. Para makompleto na ang kwan. PBB housemates. Okay, so we have, okay, Rania. We also have Piquero. Chano. Okay, we have now the answer of Jovil. Okay. Now, can I ask Badilia? Hara, you're there, Hara?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Hara, can you please explain how did you get the first answer on the question number 1? Would you mind?
Kuan, sir, kanang higamit na ko tong formula atong speed of light is equal to wavelength times frequency, then ako siyang sige, tabag na.
Isa man.
Sana ang final din formula, sir, kay kuan to find kuan man calculate the wavelength. So wavelength is equal to speed of light times masarap frequency.
Conclusion. Based on Newton. Nalaman mo X which is 173.8. So, what does it mean? So, kung sabog ka na.
Okay, go on. How did you get the wavelength? Nag-derive kag formula?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nag-derive kag formula. What else? What else did you do? What will be the final formula for this one to calculate the wavelength? From C is equals to the lambda times frequency.
Out of three questions na nai-duwang questions na wala na answeran. Diba? So, usan mo sir?
Kuan, sir, ka na sa to? Wavelength is equal to speed of light times frequency.
One, ginaantay
Okay.
X and P of X. Yes, yeah. But, what if, kumakaon, the total sum of P of X is equal to what? Makaingon ng ready na ba na mo ako sa X and P of X? What yan na kuha ang answer, right? The exact answer. Right?
Okay, continue.
It should be the sum of the P of X equals to 1. Para sakto ako answer. Kung di siya may equal to 1, probably, ang answer niyo sa mean, variance, and standard deviation is equal. The second question is, pinpoint kung asang sayo. Kung nais sayo dito. Matong dito ni RP sa delete mo ako makita. So try to go back sa yung standard deviation. I think 8 something, 8 point something like maybe 8.7. Equal number din yun. So may siya. So dapat may siya.
So your derived formula is lambda is equals to C divided by the frequency. Sakto?
May siya 9. So muna kung gusto i-pinpoint.
Dayon, you substituted the values, the given values, we have 3.0 times 10 to the power of 8 divided by 560.5 hertz. And then after dividing, yung answer is na yung 5.35 times 10 to the power of 5. Right?
So, again, namoy plus 5.
Sakto?
Namoy plus 5 sa pagpasok sa PowerPoint.
Okay, your silence means yes. How about the second one? What will be the frequency of the red light and the blue light? Actually, you have two different answers here. I don't know what kind of calculator did you use to calculate the quiet to end up getting 6.67. Can anyone please explain how did you get 6.67? The red light, your answer sa red light is already correct. But I am very curious about the blue light. Your answer is different from mine. I have here 6.38 times 10 to the power of 14. How about getting the 6.67?
Opo, sir.
I'm sorry? Who was that?
Ikaw na po, sir.
I'm sorry, kinsa to?
Good, sir.
Okay, username, okay. Ikaw, Christian, ikaw ang spokesperson sa 6.67. How did you end up getting 6.67?
6.38 na po, sir.
Ha?
6.38.
6.38? How about the others? How about you, Philip? Okay, ikaw ang spokesperson, Philip. How did you get 6.67, Philip?
Kwan, sir. Using sa derived formula nga frequency is equal to speed of light over wavelength. The given wavelength is 450 nanometers. To convert it into meters, 450 times 10 to the negative 9 power.
Okay. So, nagamit ka 450.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because I extracted mo good kanina 470 for the blue. Okay, now I know. So you use the 450 to calculate the frequency of the blue light.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you for the clarification. But I actually instructed 470, no? Okay, specific na ako kanina. But anyways, if you will be calculating the frequency of the blue light, because the range of the blue light, mga good, actually your answer is correct, Magyapon. Because the ranges for the blue light to calculate it's gonna its frequency is from 450 to 500. So if you'll be calculating the value of the frequency of the blue light from 450 to 500, uh, medyo ang naka-staggered nga, naka-staggered nga whole number is ang 6 point, no? 6 point something. Even if we end up getting 500, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so wala siya change sa iyahang whole number. Nag-change lang siya dito sa what do you call this one? Iyahang after decimals. Okay. Okay, so that is our first activity, for the speed of light. How about the brightness of the light? So the brightness of the light, actually we have three ways of calculating the brightness of the light. So we have the luminous intensity, we have the illumination, and the luminous flux. Napatay different kind of sources sa light. Like we have di ba? Natin mga bioluminescence, di ba? Natin mga chemiluminescence, natin mga luminescent lang ng mga lights. So those are the sources. But on calculating for the brightness of the light, we have three measurable quantities for this one. Sometimes we use the luminous intensity with the unit of candela as part of measuring the light. For the illumination, we have here a symbol of 8 that is actually representing the word or the measurement called illuminance. The measured in terms of the lux is where the unit that we get from calculating the illuminescence or the illumination is lux, or 1 lux is equivalent to 1 candela per meter squared, or 1 luminous flux over meter squared. Or on the calculated side for the illumination, we have E is equals to the I, which is the luminous intensity in candela, divided by the distance squared, or the D squared. Okay? So for the luminous flux, we only have a unit of lumen, or LM. So the luminous flux and the luminous intensity is actually part of the unit on calculating the illumination of the specific item. Like, what if we are calculating a light that is far from the source? Okay, what if we have a very distant type of light, like the Earth and the other stars in the universe? So, nga na. But how do we use that equation, that formula? We have here a sample question, a sample situation. So we have calculate the illuminance of a small surface at a distance of 1.5 meter from a lamp with a luminous intensity of 70 candela. So on this problem, we have a given of a distance which is 1.5 meter, and of course our luminous intensity, which is 70 CD, or 70 candelas. Now, how do we solve for the illuminance of the object? Let's try to see that we're talking about a flashlight that we need to double the distance, because we cannot just say that the light was nakastruck siya directly to the other object. So we need to assume that there are factors that's affecting it. Like, for example, depends on what kind of glass was used for that light. So we have a solution using the formula, no? Sa illuminance, we have E is equals to I divided by D squared. And then by this, what we need to do is just to substitute the given values. For the value of the luminous intensity, we have 70 candela divided by the 1.5 meter, which is the distance, in squared. So dividing the two, we'll have an answer of 31.11 lux, or candela per meter squared. So this will be our final answer. Diba? It's very easy. Just have to do the division. So question so far about about the use of this equation for the illuminance or illumination.
None so far, sir.
And so far, okay, because it's very easy to to understand because you only need the division, no? Dividing pa na nga to ang ni ato ang gamiton. Okay, now how about this one? Let's try to answer this. Okay, we have a 300 light source is placed at the 8 meter above the ground. Then what is the illumination at? First, we have the point directly below the source, and then the second one is what if the point is at 4.8 meter from the point below the source? So we have two different situations here. The first one is we need to actually calculate the illumination where it is directly below the source. The second one is we need to calculate another illumination if na-change na ang iyahang distance below the source. So you have two different answers here. So what will be your answer on the first one? Asa tong kandela dani? Anyone? Okay, very obvious, no? We have 300 light source. Wala siya wala gamitan og unit for candelas, but the definition itself is saying that 300 is the candela. So, what will be your answer for the letter A? Comment? A and B. For the A and B, sige. We have now an answer from Alexandra. Okay, thank you, Alexandra. How about the others? Comment your answers. Okay, we also have here an answer from Piquero. Okay, thank you, Philip. Okay, we have an answer from Acero and Bukon. And Tugtug. Okay, we have an answer from Valmoria and Mantiza. And also Budlao. Okay, thank you, Ho. Thank you also, Shaban. Okay, few na lang. You also have your answer from Amethyst. Okay, an answer from Hara. Okay, no more. So our answer is actually no, it's 4.68 or 4.69. Okay, uh, lux. And then for letter B, we have 13.02 lux. So as you can observe sa kwan sa kanang yung answer, even sa equation or sa inyong solution, the farther the kwan, the farther the kanang, let's say, it doesn't matter if pila ang ato ang value sa kandela, no? Because what happened magodani is that if we double the distance, what happened is that gamay atong lux, no? Gamay ang ato ang candela or ang ato ang illuminance. Pasabot na gamay nga light lang ang gaabot. For if we will shorten the distance but doubling its as its kanang aspect on in terms of calculations, actually no, it's more mas high ang iyahang illuminance. Pasabot na mas hayag siya. So medyo dili siya hayag paglayo, hayag siya pag duol. So that is the basic concept no of the illuminance. So nagets na on how to calculate the illuminance?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
dili day ay ang illuminance from the light source to the kanang distance nga gikuan.
Ah. I'm sorry, Philip. I don't follow. Isa to? Di ay?
Dili day ang point nga pangitaon is katong kanang from the light source direct to the point nga gina-refer dili sa distance nga gihatag ikan sa kuan.
Okay. Yeah, that's the command. That's the kanang what? That's the logic behind the question. Now we have a 300 light source. So let's say that is the value of the candela. That is the value of our light. And then we're trying to calculate the illuminance of our source to which point siya directly mo kung pila ang lux niya once namulit siya dito sa endpoint sa atong light source. So for the first one, we have an 8 meter. If our light source is 8 meter above the ground, it happens na yun nga ang ato ang kanang ang lux or ang illuminance nga moabot at the end of the endpoint will be just as medyo gamay ang iyang value. Pero if we cut the distance into half with the same candela or with the same light source, it happens that there will be mas greater ang value sa iyang illuminance. So let's try to say nga mura siya mas hayag siya kung duol ang light source sa ground. So hinay ang light source above ang kung medyo taas ang iyahang iyahang height or distance comparing to the shorter one or to the nearer one. Is that what you meant, Philip?
Ang illustration sir pag inanaan sir. Wait.
Sige.
Ani sir sabi.
Oo, mag-involve ta og murag trigonometric na measurement na ni. If wala siya may tabo. Sige daw.
Ano na siya, sir?
Okay. So, imong gikuan ang
Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem. Actually, ang two question are ang given ako are two different questions. So, ang atong focus na ni is 8 lang on the first question. But on the second dayon, we try to identify if na-change ba ang iyang value kung atong i-half or atong tandugon ng distance from the light source. So, ang siguro, ang suggestion ako na to sa illustration kanina, probably masyada siya kung two different illustration with two different kanang height. And atong ikuan niya, ang ground is muna siya kung asa ang locks na to pwede ma-place. Yan na siguro. So, ang ato ang tangent, kaya atong tangent, ato ang murag diagonal nga kuan nga line, muna to ang lux, muna to ang illuminance. And then ang atong A is atong height or distance, and then atong B is muna siya ang iyahang muna to ang kanabitang what call this one. Muna to atong lux or atong illuminance, and ato ana yung himuon dayon nga C is boy ato ang kanang kuan, muna tong kandela para mas kuan siya, para mas makuan nato, ma-visualize nato ang iyahang kuan, ang iyahang kung ato illustrate nga question. Sobrang iyan eh. This is the shape. Let's clarify that point. It's a good question. Diba? Kani. So let's try to siya. Let's try to focus our one here. So let's try to see nga kani siya dani, this one, that will be our one. This will be our muna tong height. This will be our height on the end. Kani, let's try to this will be required. This will be our illuminance, our E. And then on the other hand, this will be our light source. Okay, so this will be our candela, our I. This will be our luminous intensity. Ayan na lang. So this is our height, this is our D. Do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this will be our height. So what if we have an 8 meter above the ground light source? And then the E here is our illuminance, our illumination. So this will be I nato this will be our luminous intensity. So this will be the 300 light source. This will be the height, which is 8 meter above the ground. And then the dayon, pila ang kainang kwan bitaw, usa ka kusog di ay ang iyahang kwan dayon, ang iyahang may tabo nga result if ang iyang height is at 8 meters. So let's try to see that our illumination here is, for the first question, is naala siya 4.68 lux. So medyo dili siya kusog ang iyahang kanang brightness. But if we change the height here into 4.8 meter, half of the original kanang height on the first question, there will be a change sa iyahang illumination. So the nearer the bright source, the brighter ang iyahang illuminance. Na-gets na, nasabtan ang iyahang ang concept. Okay. But thank you so much, Philip, for that one. That's a good one. That's a good question. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Let's continue our discussion tomorrow. We still have a lot of calculations to deal with. So thank you so much, everyone, for attending the class, and have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.